In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to start an LLC in Maryland. My name is Eric, and in this video, what I'm going to do is walk you through 3 methods on how to start an LLC. The first is going to be using your state website. The second is using free tools that you can find online. And the third, if you need to go this route, is hiring an attorney. But one of the important things I'll be showing you in this video is how you can get a free consultation with an attorney to start, just to save yourself some money if you decide to go down that route. So some of the things that we'll be covering in this video, besides just kind of the basics of setting up an LLC, are some really important terms. And if you're not familiar with these terms, it's really important that you watch this video to make sure that you have a legit LLC. The first term is piercing the corporate veil, and the second term is understanding exactly what a registered agent is. And now, if you're not familiar with these two terms, definitely watch the rest of this video because I'm going to get into that in a lot of detail coming up. So the first thing I want to talk about is registering with your state website. So this link right here, this is really important to mention. Any of the links or resources I mentioned in this video are going to be in the description below. So this link will be there as well. So the first thing you want to do is actually see if the name you have in mind is available. So you can click search for a business. So what I did is I kind of searched in Maryland here for some different restaurant names. And this one, I'm not even sure how you say it, maybe Ekabin. But what you can do is I can copy this and I can go back to here. And if I search for this, so what you'll find here is that if there is a LLC already set up for this, you'll see the business name showing up and it'll look something like this. So now if you were to search, I don't know, I'm just going to put in a bunch of letters like this. It's impossible that this is actually taken as an LLC, but you'll see that the business name you entered was not found. Try searching again. So what you'd want to do is once you have your business name actually set up, what you'll do is go over here and you can create an account on the right-hand side, and it's going to walk you through the order process, registering your new business, managing and filing, and any questions that you have going through the state website. Now, this is a really helpful tool. I found that their particular website is laid out much better than other states, but still there are issues that I find with the service. And the main issue I have is as you're going through, your articles of organization, this is for the Maryland Limited Liability Company. This is the issue I have with a lot of state websites is they kind of gloss over important details. And one in particular is number 4, the registered agent limited liability company in Maryland is, and their address is. Now, if you go to the second page, it'll give you a little bit more information here in section 4. And it says here that registered agent can be any Maryland citizen who is over 18, a Maryland corporation or Maryland LLC. This person must also sign the document. Now, the issue I have with this is a lot of people will see that and they'll say, cool, I'll use my sister Susie or my buddy down the street, Jim, he can sign the document for me and he'll be my registered agent. Now, the problem with that is in the unfortunate case, if you're actually sued, what's going to happen is the attorney suing you is going to try to find cracks in your LLC. And I think sometimes it's important to understand exactly what an LLC is, what it does and what it doesn't do. And at this particular point of the video, I want to explain that. So some people think that an LLC has some sort of tax advantage to setting up. It does not. It's a common misnomer. Really what an LLC does is it limits your liability. And what you want to do is you have your business assets, so that might be your business bank account, if you have an office or a restaurant location in the particular example we were using earlier. And then you have your personal assets, your personal bank account, your car, your home, those things. The LLC creates a division between these two assets so that in the unfortunate case that you are sued, that they can't come after your personal assets as well in addition to your business assets. But like I mentioned earlier, that attorney, what they're trying to do is find a crack in your LLC. And what the term is called is piercing the corporate veil. One way they might do that is if you haven't really dotted all your I's and crossed your T's. And there's a few different ways that they're going to try to find those cracks in your LLC. One of them might be that maybe you haven't renewed with the state. And this is a good example of a registered agent or a resident agent as it's called in Maryland. So let's say your friend Susie down the street, she doesn't actually let you know that they've received documentation that you need to renew with the state in Maryland, and you don't go through that process. Then what happens is when you're sued, that attorney's going to find out that you didn't renew with the state because you didn't have a really legit registered agent on file, and they're going to come after you and potentially be able to take your personal assets as well. So sometimes people just kind of fill in section 4 here on the resident agent, and they kind of just gloss over that, but it's really important that that person's doing what they're supposed to be doing for you. So this service over here called InkFile, they have a learning center here and it talks about registered agents. And if you go down here and it'll tell you exactly what a registered agent does, official letters and correspondence from your Secretary of State, service of process notices. So this is if you're being sued and need to appear in court, like I mentioned earlier, official federal government correspondence information and notifications, tax forms and requests for payment. So that could be renewing with the state, and then requests to complete permits, company filings, or reports. So if you're not doing these things and your registered agent isn't letting you know or notifying you that you need to do these things in a timely manner, then there might be a crack in your LLC and you're really creating a lot of liability for yourself. So what I'd like to talk about now is free online tools that you can use, such as LegalZoom or InkFile, which we were just looking at. LegalZoom really isn't free because what you'll see here is I've highlighted that they have a $79 plus your filing fee. So in every state, there's a filing fee and you can't get around it. It doesn't matter if you're going through the state website, through a tool like LegalZoom, or through an attorney, there's going to be a filing fee. So again, going back to InkFile, this is all your state filing fees I got here from clicking this link right here. But you'll see in Maryland, it's $197. So you're going to have to pay $197 to the state of Maryland for filing an LLC. So that's why I kind of like InkFile. Is if you go to the homepage of InkFile here, one of the first things that jumps out to you is it's $0 plus state fee. So again, going back to your state fee, it'd be $197, but then it's only going to be $0 in addition to that to get set up. So on the most basic packages at InkFile, they don't actually make any income. So as you can see on the screen, they've worked with over 250,000 businesses since 2004. So I'm going to take you through the process and let you know how they actually make their money, because if you're like me, you're probably skeptical of like, okay, why are they doing this for $0? So we'll click Launch My Business here, or you can click Incorporate Now at the top here. And then what you do is you select an LLC, which 80% of all new business entities are LLCs. And then you're going to scroll down to Maryland here. Now, as we scroll down here, here's where we're talking for the first package. Like I mentioned, $197 for your state fee and then $0 for your package fee. And you'll see too that they had the free registered agent service for a year. Now, if we go back to that article here on registered agents on their site, and you scroll down kind of close to the bottom here, you'll find an important line of text here that says it's even free for the first year when you incorporate with InkFile, and then it's just $119 annually after that for the InkFile's registered agent service. So when you look at this particular package, that's what you really need to know, is that it's $0 costs as far as what they're taking on their end, but then year 2, 3, 4, 5, it's $119 a year for that registered agent service. In my opinion, well worth it, because what you're looking at is being able to make sure that you actually have a legit LLC. Starting and setting up an LLC and actually maintaining one and making sure it's legit are two separate things. And having a reputable registered agent as opposed to your friend down the street is really important for maintaining that LLC. Now, as you go and look into the upper packages, of course, there's extra things that are added on here. One of them that I want to highlight here is the business banking account. Currently for InkFile, they do this through Bank of America. This is really important because what it's called is commingling funds. That's the term that you want to be aware of. If you set up a personal bank account, which you already have, and then you start running business funds through it and paying vendors through that account, you're commingling funds. An attorney coming after you is going to say this is not a legit LLC, because as you can see, they're using a personal bank account to help run the business. So that's one way that you want to make sure that things are separated. So it's very important you set up a business bank account for yourself. But what I have found is if you go through the silver package, that they do offer that for free in that package, because it's probably not costing them anything to have that set up with that relationship with Bank of America, or you can go on your own and do that yourself. The other really important thing here too is the EIN business tax number. So I'll include this in the description below in the links, but this is the page you want to look at on the IRS website. It's going to let you know if you actually need an EIN. You don't necessarily need one. Most cases you do for an LLC, but you can apply online for your EIN right here. This is the route that I went. So I set up my own business, my own LLC, and did a lot of research and a lot of education on this. I'm not an attorney or a CPA, so I will put that caveat out there. But what I wanted to do in this video is give you as much information as possible so that you can make the best decision for yourself. Now, sticking with transparency here, if you do use my link in the description below for the InkFile, I may receive a commission from you using that link, but I really appreciate it because it helps support my channel and what I'm trying to do and grow for myself and my family. So I really, truly appreciate it. So one of the last things I want to talk about is if you have a complicated business, right? Maybe you're doing business outside of state lines and you've already been in business for a while, making money, income, and all that, and you've been kind of behind on setting up an LLC, which don't beat yourself up. You're doing the right thing now, but you may want to consult with an attorney and go that route. I'm not affiliated with this service Avo in any way, but I just like it for a few reasons. And one of them is they create a clean lawyer directory that you can look up here. But one of the overwhelming things is you're like, all right, there's 62 LLC lawyers in Maryland. But one of the ways that you can kind of filter this data down is by narrowing it by city, or what you can do is you can click on the left-hand side here, a free consultation. So now we're going to go from 62 results down to 11 results. And if you want to kind of, limit that a little bit further, you can get only a list of attorneys with a 9 rating and up. So now you can see we're down to 2 results. So this is kind of cool because both of these guys are willing to have a 15-minute consultation for free with you to answer any questions that you may have throughout the process of setting up an LLC LLC, and I find this is a really comfortable way to go. Just understand that it's going to cost you anywhere from $800 to $3,000 and up if you do go with an attorney. I mean, if you go with an attorney, they're going to have like $250,000 of student loan debt most likely, so that's why their fees are pretty high. A nice thing about going through a service like InkFile is you're using modern technology to keep your price and costs low so that you don't have to, pay an attorney $1,000 to $3,000. But if you have a complex business situation, I think it's recommended that you go through an attorney and make sure that you're doing everything correctly because you might have more of a complex situation. So the last thing I want to talk about is if you are looking to save taxes with your entity, you're not going to be able to do that with an LLC, but you might be able to do that with an S-Corp. So if you click the InkFile review video on the screen now, at about the 215 point of that video, I'm going to be talking about an S-Corp tax calculator. So if you're making more than $40,000 a year net on your business already, you may want to consider that and click that video. Again, guys, thank you for using the links in the description below and supporting my channel, and I'll catch you in the next video.